Drama bin drama, Arab drama, ole drama, yote pamoja. Ayayayayayaya. Sample the following events taking place within a very short space of time, merely 48 hours, in our dear country called Kenya. Number 1, President Uhuru Kenyatta meets with the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto in State House. That meeting took place yesterday, Monday, 27th January 2020. Multiple sources say that meeting lasted, wait for this one, over 5 hours. Now, there's an interesting aside here. Some people are saying, no, it didn't take 5 hours. They say the Deputy President was kept waiting, for that meeting, for a very large chunk of that duration, very large chunk of that 5 hours. But that version of events has been impossible to verify. But what is very interesting here is that this meeting between the President and his deputy is the first one in a very, very long time. Meaning that whatever they were discussing was very important, very urgent. At the very least, that is the implication. Event number 2, at around the same time, over 140 members of parliament allied to the Deputy President come out of a 2-day seminar at Lake Naivasha resort. And I believe that meeting also included other politicians who are not MPs, like senators, etc., etc. The main agenda of that meeting, wait for this one, how to counter the Building Bridges initiative. Event number 3, the President has a very long meeting, with close family members and his kitchen cabinet, that goes very late into Sunday evening. Sunday, 26th January 2020. Now, those events put together and happening at around the same time tell us a story. They tell us that something very, very big is cooking. If not a major political decision, a major political war. And what is very interesting here is that a common thread goes right through all those 3 events. Because some sources say the long meeting in State House between the President and his deputy had the main agenda of pushing government legislation through Parliament, which resumes in about 2 weeks. Now I have a simple question for you. Is it possible these days to discuss any major government move without including the BBI? I don't think so. Still, even if the BBI was not touched on when discussing the government agenda for the next Parliament sitting, DP Ruto allies have told the press that one of the things discussed in that meeting with the President was the attendance of the Deputy President in future BBI rallies. And that's not all. The allies to the Deputy President have told the press that they're very eager and they're very enthusiastic about the Deputy President at least attending some rallies. Now that one can get a bit confusing because we all know that the Deputy President has been one of the harshest, indeed the harshest critic of the BBI. So he will attend these rallies to say what? What? But hold on to that thought for a minute. We'll come back to it when we discuss the other events. Because as I told you, there's definitely a link. There's definitely a common thread that goes right through. Now it appears that the retreat at the Lake Naivasha resort, whose main aim was to counter the BBI, came to the realization and the conclusion that one of the ways of doing this is by introducing populist suggestions of their own to be included in the BBI. How do you know this? It's because allies of the Deputy President came out of that meeting with some ideas. For example, they want to suggest the introduction of a 5% allocation from the budget, from the national budget, to go towards giving graduates who have graduated from universities and colleges in Kenya a kind of monthly allowance, a stipend, that they will receive monthly, until they get a job. It stops immediately they get a job. And this monthly free money, it is proposed, should continue for 5 years after graduation. That is for those who, even after those 5 years, have still not been able to get a job. Another suggestion, was to entrench into our laws a 15% allocation from national revenue to cushion, the less privileged Kenyans, the poor, from the high prices of basic commodities, and at the same time cushion farmers who plant some of those basics, like maize, from low maize prices or from low prices of whatever they plant. That is considered basic, for ordinary Kenyans. Another suggestion, an allocation of 3.5% from the national revenue to always be allocated to the judiciary, to enhance its independence, so that it doesn't have to depend on the executive and politicians for budget allocations. Now, of course, all those are very popular, vote-getting proposals. And looking at them, you can clearly see where the Deputy President is going with this. Now, we all know that the BBI proponents, especially ODM and the President's wing of Jubilee, do not trust Team Tanga Tanga and the Deputy President's team. However, the BBI team cannot refuse to accept suggestions and ideas. And if you take a closer look at these proposals from Team Tanga Tanga for the BBI, you will immediately notice something. They are all very good suggestions. However, they do not fall under the main agenda and objective of the Building Bridges initiative. They don't. I saw a member of Club 1999 yesterday trying to separate the handshake from the Building Bridges initiative. In my view, that is impossible. And for a very simple reason. The main objectives of the handshake will be birthed through the BBI. And it is mainly bringing Kenyans together. And unless you correct me, I don't see how giving free money to university graduates, jobless university graduates, will bring the country together. I don't see how it will eliminate tensions during elections. Also, although I'll be the first to support any idea that gives the judiciary enough budget allocation to be as independent as possible, that's a brilliant idea. That has nothing to do with bringing Kenyans together. Bottom line, it seems that Team Tanga Tanga's strategy is to completely change the direction of the BBI. Clearly, the idea is to ensure that the BBI completely changes direction from where it's heading into another direction. So that at the end of the day, Kenyans will say, yenyewe, these ideas are better, these ideas are good, they benefit us directly. Those other ideas, of adding more posts, of ongezering mizigo, do not benefit us. But that would be a very short-sighted view. It would be the kind of view that assumes that the 2017 elections were very peaceful. There were no issues. And we came out of those elections a very peaceful and united country. And then some people went and did a handshake and brought us a BBI which is totally unnecessary. That is the assumption you'd have to make, which of course is false. The truth, which many Kenyans, an increasing number of Kenyans, have chosen to completely ignore and pretend it never happened, is that the country was on the verge of burning. I can't put it any better than that. But I must also admit, and Team Tanga Tanga know this, that there's a possibility that if the handshake collapses today and we do away the BBI, there may be no tensions in the country because time has passed. That crisis has passed. Hii Kenya yetu? Well, there's no doubt that the new Team Tanga Tanga tactics are very interesting. And of course, there's no doubt the Team Tanga Tanga versus Team Kieleweke political duel is very far from being over. The only thing that has happened is that tactics have changed very dramatically. In a nutshell, what we should now expect is a vicious battle for the hearts of Kenyan voters, which is much better and much more productive than holding rallies across the country to insult people. And both Team Tanga Tanga and Team Kieleweke have been guilty of this. Although, to be honest, it is Team Tanga Tanga who started. But this presents a very dangerous situation. Now let us just imagine for a minute that DP Ruto and his lieutenants come into a rally and they present their ideas, which are bound to be very popular with the people, and the people cheer. And then Team Kieleweke presents the ideas, which have a lot to do with changing the structure of government, which to the ordinary Kenyan is boring. Well, this is politics, and the first thing you need to know is that Team Kieleweke will never allow such a situation to unfold. And so the most probable thing that will happen is that we'll have Team Tanga Tanga after a very short while complaining that the BBI is not all-inclusive, because their ideas and their suggestions and their input is being resisted by Team Kieleweke. But at least now, if you see such a headline in future, you will understand everything behind it. And you will be able to grasp all the deeper issues surrounding such statements. But this is going to be very interesting. Make no mistake about it. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.